Welcome to another edition of the Business and Personal Podcast, where we bring you closer to the people you do business with. And we're excited today to be joined by Jessica Rollins. She's the executive director and owner of Sylvan Learning. And Jessica, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. I think I'm obviously always trying to find topics that are top of mind for people. And now that we've had about a year of quarantine school in the books, everybody is kind of wanting to know where their kids are at. Maybe a lot of them have fell behind, and now is a good time to figure out where they're at, what they need to work on to get ready for next school year. Not waiting till next school year, but starting now. So, first of all, just kind of tell me a little bit about yourself and why you joined Sylvan Learning.
Yeah, I love sharing this story. So thanks for giving me the opportunity. Right out of college, I got my teaching certificate from Central Michigan. Um, I got married right when I was student teaching, and 3 months after I got married, my husband got deployed right during the start of Operation Iraqi Freedom. So brand new newlywed, just newly certified teacher. I was teaching fourth grade. And then I was going home at night and watching the news, which is not what you should be doing when your husband is in that war torn country. So I asked around for some friends for some suggestions for a night job so that I could teach during the day and have a night job after I was done. And I was so grateful that I was led to Sylvan Learning Center. So I started out with the centers in, at that time, Belleville, Michigan. And, when I started, I thought it was going to be a 3-month job. I was going to work 2 jobs while he was deployed. And then he would come home. I would leave Sylvan, be this fourth grade classroom teacher for the rest of my life. And that was the plan. And then life intervened. And what really happened is I fell in love with what we do at Sylvan, because when I was teaching in the classroom, I had a set curriculum and a set timeline for that curriculum. So, to some extent, even if my students were struggling with a topic, I couldn't go backward. I had to teach the curriculum that I was obligated to teach. And I found at night at Sylvan, if a student needed 5 exposures to learn fractions, I could give them 5 exposures. And if they only needed a quick lesson, I could give them that quick lesson. So 3 months into the job, they actually had a full-time position open up that I accepted. And I worked my way up at the centers in Belleville and Brownstown. And I worked there for about 9 years. And then my husband got a job here in Lansing. So we transferred from the Canton area to Lansing. And I loved Sylvan so much, I came to the owners of the center here and said, hey, I want to work here. And they said, well, we don't have any full-time openings. I said, that's fine. I've got 2 babies at home. I'll just teach part-time for you. So for about 3 months again, taught part-time for them. And then they had a full-time position open up that I accepted, and eventually worked my way up to running their Lansing location. And then in 2017, the owners at that time, who were in their mid-60s, said, hey, have you ever thought of being a business owner? We're ready to retire, and we really want to see these centers go to someone who's passionate about education and what we do. So, if you would have asked me then, I would have said, no, I'm a teacher. I'm not a business owner. But thankfully, I have a very supportive husband who asked me to reconsider, and we decided to jump in. So in 2017, we purchased our first 3 locations of Lansing, Jackson, and Brighton. And then in December of that year, the owner of the Flint location came to us with that same question. So we added our 4th center very shortly after that. So next week, actually, we will celebrate our 4-year anniversary of owning those 4 locations.
Fantastic. And who would have known all those years ago you would run into a pandemic at some point that would basically turn your business upside down. What's interesting though is it also caused demand to be probably higher than ever for your services, because all of a sudden everybody had to start learning from home, and we all know how challenging that can be. So, but you've done a heck of a job of pivoting. So just kind of explain how you have adjusted to COVID and some things that you've changed that will continue going forward.
Yeah. And I will say that is the nice part. So, Sylvan Learning is a franchised organization. And so, one of the great things is I'm a part of a huge family. So, I didn't feel like I had to go at this alone. There are hundreds of other franchisees across the nation that could help me problem solve through this. So, we went overnight, literally, from offering no virtual services to offering 100% virtual services. So we were able to completely adapt our in-center model and make the experience online exactly the same. So what we were able to do was to ensure that our students were not just getting live online instruction with us, but that it was also the exact same quality of instruction that they felt in center. So the same customized program that they got in center, they were getting virtually. So, I will remember that weekend forever where we completely turned our business model upside down, and, we all learned Zoom very quickly. And we were so grateful that our families were able to pivot with us. So we initially transitioned, I would say, about 25% of our families to online. So it did give us some time to gradually work out the kinks. And I think the nice part is we've really developed a virtual product that still gives that personalization that will allow us in the future to expand our reach. So we don't see virtual going away. Right now, our centers are open. I believe most of the centers in Michigan opened June 1st. That's when we opened our 4 locations. And right now, about 90% of our business is in center in person because we can limit capacity. So instead of offering instruction after school, we offer it virtually all day with limited capacity each hour. But we still have some families that, because of drive time or schedules, that virtual just is a better fit for them and will continue to be a fit even after the masks and distancing and capacity requirements are lifted. So, obviously a year later now, looking back, I can say this easier than I would have said it a year ago, but this has really forced us to create a quality online product that will be here to stay. So forever now, I can offer families the option that fits best for them.
You and I were talking to prepare for this podcast, and you were saying, you know what, virtual gets a bad rap. It does work. It's hard in a big group setting sometimes for kids to get the instruction they need, but that one-on-one virtually, you've found big success with that.
We have, and I think that the main difference is, right, that classroom teacher has done such a great job of adapting the curriculum, but it's still the curriculum at the grade level that they're teaching. So what we're finding is, we might have a 4th grader who's still reading at a 2nd grade reading level. So no matter how well you adopt that 4th grade curriculum to virtual instruction, the student is still going to struggle. But what we're able to do is take the age and the grade level out of the picture and say, you know what, Lily, you're reading at a 2nd grade reading level. I'm going to meet you where you're at and move you forward. And that's the big difference is we meet our students where they're at, no matter what that looks like. For some students during COVID, it's been, you know what, you're ahead of the rest of your class. And so you need to be pushed even further. So that's what I really love about it is I can take any child and customize a curriculum that is specific to their needs. So it's not that the classroom teachers aren't doing a great job and we're doing a great job with the same product. We have different requirements and procedures that we can follow that no classroom teacher could.
Yeah, totally. We're not here to bag on the job teachers are doing. Everybody's got a challenging job right now, but that's where you come in. It takes a village right now to help kids out. And I think, as you discussed, this next 3 to 6 month period is very crucial for parents that think their child might be falling behind. As you mentioned to me, don't wait till the start of the school year to see where you're at. Getting those assessments done right now, especially as things open up, the vaccine's out there and you're able to help more. Talk about that and just don't wait.
Yeah. So the nice part about Sylvan is that we do start with that assessment, and the assessment does not obligate you to move forward with a program. So we have a lot of families that will come to us even before COVID. Maybe they were a homeschooling family, or maybe they just moved from another state and they wanted to know where their child was at. We're not emotionally attached to that child. And so we can give you a true third party view of academically where your child stands and where their strengths and weaknesses are. And then we will present you with options that will meet your goals, whether that's to get your kiddo caught up, to get them ahead, to get a higher SAT score. We'll present you with a solution, but it's up to you whether you want to start that. So I would really love to see families taking advantage of that assessment and then making that decision if the program is the right fit right now. But right now we have the gift of time before September. um, I would hate to see families come to us in August or September or October to find out that their student is, 9, 10 months or even a couple years behind, and now it takes us a little bit longer to get caught up.
100%. And definitely a great message that hopefully that's the main message I want people to take away from this, to get working on this now. So it would probably be a lot quicker for us to mention the things that you don't do, the people you can't help, or offer things you can't offer. It's such a long list of things, but just as quickly as you can, give people an idea of the subjects you're able to cover and the types of kids you're able to help out.
Yeah. So most centers are going to start at the preschool ages. So in our locations, we start at about 4.5 years old. Our sessions are 1 hour in length. So we do want the students to be able to, focus and have that engagement for the hour. But students come for 1 hour sessions. Some students come for 2 hour sessions. So preschool is where we start, and then some centers actually have adults in their centers as well. We have some college students needing help. We maybe have some adults that need help learning how to study. So age range, we really run that full gamut. Subject wise, it's really that same thing. We definitely have our core research based programs in reading, math, and writing. And then we have probably my favorite program is called Study Skills. And that's designed for students who are academically capable of performing, but it's not coming out in the work. So maybe it's your student that has struggles with missing assignments. Maybe it's your student who studies for 4 hours for a test and still fails that test. Study skills is really a game changer for a lot of kiddos. And I think it's going to become even more important. Our students have learned such different habits during virtual learning, and they're going to need some assistance transitioning from an organizational standpoint back to in-person learning. So I think study skills is going to become so much more important as students transition back, whether that's now or in the fall. And then we have another catch-all program that's just homework support. So, if your student's just struggling with one class, maybe it's geometry, chemistry, algebra, we can help them more of what you think of when you think of a traditional tutor. So we have what I would consider the Band-Aid approaches. If you just need help in one class and you just need a quick Band-Aid, we can help you with that. But I think our sweet spot and most of our passion for our teachers are the more permanent fixes. So if your student has always struggled or always needed a challenge and you need an outside curriculum to fill in that need, that's really where we see our strength.
And you have a unique offering with the Sylvan Guarantee, which I think is a pretty cool program. Just talk about that a little bit too.
We do, yep. So for our students who are enrolled in those core research-based programs, we guarantee that they'll get through 50 skills in their first 50 hours. So, when you think about a grade of school and you can break that down into specific skills, we want to make sure that we're meeting that child where they're at and moving them forward. So those skills might be reading, they might be math, they might be writing, but we're going to make sure that we get through 50. And I think the game changer for us is that constant communication with the family. So each of our centers has a full-time team that is 100% devoted to making sure that our parents are in the loop with their child's program. And then our teachers, that's how I started at Sylvan. get to come in and do what they love and teach the students. So many of them teach in the classroom during the day, just as I did, and then come to Sylvan. Some are retired teachers who maybe wanted to get out of education, but still want to dabble in the waters. So the directors in our programs, our full-time team, are really also going to have the opportunity to meet with every family on a monthly basis. And these aren't your 10 to 15 minute slotted time conferences. These are really, we devote a half an hour to really making sure we're talking about your child's needs. So to be honest, most of our monthly conferences revolve around things like parenting topics. Maybe they're struggling with bullying at school. We're not just talking about the Sylvan academics, we're really helping the entire family grow and help you through those needs. So those are some of my favorite conferences where we're talking about, um, they had missing assignments and I want to take away their electronic devices, or I want to take away soccer. And we can kind of talk through what that means for that child, and, how the family can follow through. So oftentimes we're just as much of a support to the parents as we are to the students.
Oh, and trust me, we need it. Like, there's meltdowns that happen quite often. I was telling you about the one at lunchtime today where we just kind of skipped some long division and took a break. You need to do that sometimes.
Yeah, and I think here's the message that everyone listening needs to hear. My children have gone to Sylvan time and time again. It Your children are not going to work well with you for the most part. There are some families that have made it work, but when you're emotionally attached to a child, there's a different conversation that comes across. So if you as mom or dad say, let me help you with that, what a lot of our children hear is, you can't do it. And that's not what you're saying as a parent at all, but it's what they're
Mhm.
hearing because, right, you're emotionally attached. And so it truly takes a village, and sometimes it just needs to be someone else. So from the
Yeah.
time my kiddos were in preschool, they've gone to Sylvan time and time again when they have issues. So I can help everybody else's children, but I need somebody else to step in and help my own, because
Yes.
it's just a different dynamic. So please, the biggest piece of advice that I love to give families is, don't feel like it's a slight on you as a parent that you're reaching out for support. Actually, I applaud you for reaching out for support, because you're absolutely doing the right thing for your child and for
And
yourself.
right, 100%. It's a package deal. And talking about it takes a village. You're in need of certified teachers. I mean, we love our teachers to death. Amazing jobs they do, but it's been a tough year for them. And you've seen some take early retirements. You've seen some just get out of teaching and just need a mental break, but you still have that itchy finger to do it, just like you did. So I'd imagine there's a lot of people on the sidelines, hopefully some that would listen to this, talk about the help you need to fulfill this demand. I'm sure it's going to be coming.
Yeah. One of the unique things about Sylvan is that we do only have state certified teachers teaching our core programs, because it's one thing to teach a lesson to a child, but it's another thing to be able to read their body language and understand how to adapt the lesson to that child's needs. So we want to make sure that we only have qualified teachers who, when a student says, yeah, I understand it, they can read the body language and see whether that child really truly does understand that or not. So that's a great blessing that we bring to our families. It does make it difficult in times like this, though, for us to hire and recruit. So the nice part about what we do at Sylvan for our teachers is it is a great supplemental position. It takes all of the administrative work off of your plate. So our directors do all of the lesson planning. Our directors do the conferencing with the parents and the families. So our teachers literally get to the center 15 minutes before our students come in. Everything is laid out and ready for them to go. They might teach students for 3, 4 hours that night. And then when the kiddos walk out, they get to walk out with them. So it gets to take all that burden and that frustration off of the pieces that are frustrating for these teachers. And they get to truly come do what they love. Like I said, I was teaching in the classroom, and I love classroom teachers. God bless you, because I couldn't hang in there. I took the first job that they had available to me, but um, a lot of our teachers say that they find their time at Sylvan to just be a relief. It's just time for them to truly get to see the students in that capacity and reach them on a one-on-one level.
So for anybody that's interested in becoming one of your teachers, what's the best way for them to get started with the process?
So it's actually going to be the same process that we'll talk about for families. So our website is sylvanlearning.com, and they can put in their zip code and it will route them to the closest location to them. And then on the bottom of our webpage, there's actually a careers tab, and they can actually send us a message right there on that careers tab that they're interested in an open position.
Okay, very easy with the internet nowadays. You can do all that stuff pretty quick.
Right.
So many success stories I'm sure you've seen over the years, Jessica, and you were talking to me just today about the progress you're seeing in Flint. You're loving to see that. Hard to probably pick one or two stories, but I always like to close on a happy note. So maybe give us an example of a really heartwarming success story.
Yeah. I think that we have a lot of students over the years that touch our hearts. And I've had several students that are in this exact same boat, but they're in upper elementary school. They've been in special education their entire school career. They have an IEP, but they're still just so frustrated when it comes to learning. And I have one young lady that at the beginning of her time at Sylvan would crawl under the table and just get so frustrated anytime we tried to do a reading activity. And I'm so proud to say she was a Sylvan student for much of her school career, but she was able to enter high school and completely be in the traditional general education path. She did not need to go the special education route anymore. So we were able to remove that IEP from her necessities. And her open house was just a couple years ago. She graduated and has gone on to community college for computer science, and it's just such a wonderful, confident young lady. And I will say, out of everything that we do, the biggest thing that I love is every day there's another story that I get to hear from our centers of a child whose confidence is completely changed. That's the biggest game changer for us. And not only are we able to do that for what we consider our retail customers or our students who come into our centers, but we also are able now to reach out to school districts. And so one of the pieces that we've added as a passion and a mission for my team is to take our programs into the communities where students may not have that ability, whether it's financial or time, to get to our center. And we have some school districts that we've partnered with to use their Title I funding, their government funding that's already there for supplemental education. And we can come in and help bring our same programs that we bring to students in center right to their school district. So just today, I was in a district on the outskirts of Flint, and we're able to work in person with their students now. So we're limiting it to 8 students per classroom. And they've really opened this up to students who need it the most. Excuse me. And it's the end of February. And I had 2 students today who have not turned in a single assignment since last March. And we got through 2 assignments today. And not only were the students elated, but their classroom teachers were messaging them saying how proud they were to see that they were getting work done. And at the end of the session today, I was able to say I had 2 4th graders, I said, if we accomplish 2 lessons today, imagine what we can accomplish tomorrow. And, they both looked at me and said, yeah, we're really excited to see how much we can do tomorrow too. So it's just, again, that was an emotional game changer for these students. It's not about the grade they got on those 2 assignments. It's not about the fact that they turned in 2 assignments. It's the fact that we brought back that passion for learning from them. And that's what I think we're seeing with COVID. I have a 6th grader and an 8th grader, and I think it's just that engagement and that passion that we're starting to see is really been dwindled. And so many students have lost so much confidence over this time because it's difficult for them. And so that's the piece that we really want to bring back. We want to bring back that love of learning and that confidence in their own abilities, whether they're at grade level or not. They need to be confident learners. So that's where the nice part about our program starting at any time is it's never too late to get started on a program. But that being said, it is definitely better that we can start now before we get to next September so that you can see that confidence walking into school next year.
Such an awesome story. And when you were telling me that Flint story, I'm like, so you're saying like, so no assignments turning this year, so nothing for January or February? Like, no, nothing since like March of last year. And
Yep.
there's how many other kids in that situation right now? So I hope that you can continue to, you and your company can just continue to reach more kids and do all these great things. It's great to see. And maybe we'll have you on again down the road, kind of an update on how things are going. But in the meantime, what is the best way for parents to get in touch with you and get an assessment scheduled, and also talk about how wide of a reach you have in Michigan beyond just the centers that you oversee?
Yeah. And that really is the nice part about the franchise. So sylvanlearning.com is the website, no matter where you're at, whether you're in the United States, Canada, I'm not sure how far your reach goes, but sylvanlearning.com is our generic website. And then there's right on the top, there's a zip code finder. You can put in your zip code. It will route you to the closest location. And the great part is now, if the center is too far from you, maybe it's an hour drive, or maybe you live in a rural area. So by the time you get home from work at night, you don't want to drive back into the city. The great part is that the vast majority of centers, in fact, all of them that I know of, are still going to remain virtual for families that need it. So if you've checked into Sylvan before and maybe the drive time is too far, especially for some of our rural families, maybe some of our families in the northern part of Michigan, there's not a center close by them. Check us out because we can help you virtually now.
I only have one question for you. So it's been about 5 hours since I tried this long division with my daughter at lunchtime. Do you think it's been long enough? Can we get back to it now and try to wrap it up?
Good luck, because there's still that frustration. So I'm sure you ended on a frustrated note. And so usually you will start with that frustrated note. So yeah, absolutely enjoy that time, but never feel bad, parents, about reaching out to the teacher and saying, you know what, we tried, we just can't get through this assignment. Never feel bad about that.
I may be reaching out to you at some point. We'll see how things go.
And we're here for you.
Well, thanks so much, Jessica. Love what you do. Love this message, and hopefully we can impact some people here.
Great. Thank you.